Okay, let's try and unpack this. Imagine a world. I mean, really imagine it, where we understand the very fabric of reality so profoundly, so deeply, that it just reshapes everything. Technology, consciousness, even what it means, to be human.
Does sound like pure sci-fi, doesn't it? Straight off the page.
Exactly. But, well, today we are actually embarking on a deep dive into the 22nd century, as envisioned through this, frankly, revolutionary theoretical framework. Our mission really is to explore what's called the hypersymmetry, hyperspace, coherent resonance theory of everything. Bit of a mouthful.
HHHCR-TOE for short, thankfully.
Right, HHHCR-TOE. And look, this isn't just some vague idea. It's apparently based on a meticulously detailed vision from a 2024 paper. It projects humanity's profound integration with this theory deep into the future.
And we're not just talking academic theories sitting on a shelf. The idea is that this understanding is woven into, well, everything. Every aspect of existence.
So it's not just tweaking things.
No, not at all. What's truly fascinating here, I think, is how this theory doesn't just offer, small adjustments to our science. It seeks to redefine it completely. It posits that consciousness and physical reality, they aren't separate things.
Okay.
They're intrinsically linked. Through a really complex web of multidimensional interactions, it's this profound integration that supposedly impacts every facet. Science, tech, consciousness itself, even society.
Wow. Okay.
Right.
And our guide for this incredible exploration, this journey into a future that feels both fantastical and somehow grounded. It's this document.
Yes. The main source we're diving into is Philip Randolph Lillian's 22nd Century 1.pdf. It lays out a detailed vision, kind of a roadmap.
A roadmap for how a theory this, grand, could actually unfold and reshape civilization. So yeah, prepare yourselves, because this sounds like it could trigger some serious aha moments. We're exploring what a universe built on interconnectedness, on harmony, could look like.
And how these very deep concepts could directly impact you, the listener, the curious mind, the future thinker.
It's definitely a deep dive unlike any other we've done. So let's jump right in. Let's get to the core of this HHHCR-TOE. All right, let's start by demystifying that name. It's quite something. Hypersymmetry, hyperspace, coherent resonance theory of everything. Sounds almost like, a secret code.
That does have that ring to it.
But at its heart, what exactly is HHHCR-TOE? What are we actually talking about here? What are its foundations?
Okay, so at its core, HHHCR-TOE is presented as this truly unified theoretical framework. The big goal is to seamlessly integrate quantum mechanics, general relativity, and this newer field called hyperspace physics.
Which is a massive undertaking, integrating those three.
Oh, absolutely. A huge claim.
Yeah.
But the theory argues they aren't just separate fields being sort of stitched together. No, they're all seen as manifestations of two really fundamental principles: resonance and coherence.
Resonance and coherence, okay.
Yeah. Imagine like a master orchestra. Every single instrument, right? From the tiniest violin to the biggest drum, all perfectly tuned, playing in absolute synchronized harmony.
Okay, I can picture that.
That perfect tuning, that synchronization, that's kind of an analogy for coherent resonance, but, on a cosmic scale. This theory proposes these aren't just abstract ideas, they're the very cornerstones. They govern all physical, biological, and even cognitive processes.
All of them.
According to the theory, yes.
Yeah.
Everything. From, say, the hum of a proton to the firing of a neuron in your brain. It's all understood as a manifestation of these resonant, coherent interactions. And crucially, it pushes our understanding way beyond the familiar 4 dimensions 3 of space, 1 of time.
Right.
It invites us, really forces us to view everything through the lens of multidimensional interactions. It suggests a much richer, more interconnected reality than we currently perceive.
So if I'm following this, it's not just a new scientific model we bolt on, it's a whole paradigm shift. It fundamentally changes how we see the universe and maybe even our place in it.
Precisely. That's exactly the language used. If we connect this to the bigger picture, HHHCR-TOE is described as nothing less than a paradigm shift. It transforms our understanding of fundamental physical laws, yes, but also the very nature of consciousness and consequently the path of technology.
Okay.
The theory posits that all physical interactions, from the tiniest subatomic bits like quarks and electrons, right up to the grandest cosmic structures, galaxies, superclusters, all of it, are just manifestations of this coherent resonance, operating within what it calls a hypersymmetric framework.
Hypersymmetric framework.
Right. It suggests that what we see as separate forces, electromagnetism, gravity, or distinct particles, They're actually just different resonant frequencies, different patterns, if you like, within a single unified field.
So the forces aren't really separate?
In this view, no. They're unified expressions of something deeper. This profound conceptual leap is apparently made possible by incorporating what the source calls higher dimensional mathematics.
Okay, now you're losing me slightly. Higher dimensional math.
Well, things like extended algebraic structures. The paper mentions octonions, Finsler geometry, things like that. Now, you don't need to be a PhD mathematician to get the gist.
Good.
Think of these as just incredibly sophisticated mathematical languages, tools that allow physicists in this future to describe and manipulate dimensions far beyond the four we experience daily.
So they're like new alphabets for describing reality.
That's a good way to put it.
Yep.
They provide the conceptual scaffolding, the bedrock, for a truly multidimensional understanding. They become absolutely essential for mapping and quantifying these interactions in higher dimensions and ultimately for understanding this universal coherence.
And these aren't just theoretical exercises in this future.
No. According to the source, they are the practical tools that unlock the 22nd century's mastery over reality.
And you mentioned hypersymmetry specifically. It's not just part of the framework. The theory says it's the absolute governing principle. What does that actually mean for how the universe works, fundamentally?
That's right. Hypersymmetry isn't just a component. It's presented as the fundamental overarching principle, the thing that binds all these different dimensions, forces, phenomena into one cohesive, elegant structure.
Okay.
Within this framework, all the known physical interactions, electromagnetism, gravity, the strong and weak nuclear forces, they're unified. They're all explained as resonant manifestations of these underlying hypersymmetrical properties.
So like different notes played on the same cosmic instrument.
Exactly. That's a perfect analogy. The seemingly disparate forces we observe are actually different expressions, different tunes of one underlying perfectly symmetrical reality.
But hang on, if everything is fundamentally symmetrical, perfectly harmonious, how do we get the universe we see? Which is, messy, diverse, complex.
Good question. The theory introduces a concept called symmetry breaking through coherent resonance.
Symmetry breaking.
Resonance itself acts as the mechanism. It's the way this underlying hypersymmetry gets broken, but in specific patterned ways. When these coherent resonant patterns become complex or specific enough, they break the perfect symmetry locally.
And that creates stuff.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
It leads to the formation of observable phenomena. This coherent resonance process allows for the emergence of all the diverse structures and interactions we see, distinct subatomic particles forming atoms, molecules, galaxies, us.
And in the 22nd century, they don't just know that it happens.
Exactly. They understand how and why certain symmetries break. And that understanding, according to the source, grants them precise control over the formation of matter and energy states.
Precise control over matter formation.
Yeah.
Right.
Imagine the mind-boggling implications. Being able to precisely guide the fundamental building blocks of the universe, not just manipulating existing matter, but potentially creating it with absolute precision.
Okay, that's huge. And this is where it gets really interesting, right? Moving from the deep theory to the astonishingly tangible results. How does a theory like this actually change everyday life? The tools, the capabilities?
Right, the technological revolution it supposedly sparks.
Let's start with computation and communication. These sound like complete game changers. First up, coherocutors, hyperquantum computers. They surpass traditional quantum computers. How? What's the secret sauce?
Well, these coherocuters supposedly leverage quantum coherence and resonance in ways that are, frankly, far beyond what we even think of as advanced quantum computing today. Their power comes from using two incredibly complex concepts mentioned in the source: laced entanglement and quantum hyperposition.
Laced entanglement, quantum hyperposition. Okay, break those down a bit.
Okay, think of it like this. Regular quantum computers use entanglement, right? Two particles linked, measure one, know the other instantly, no matter the distance.
Right, I follow that.
Laced entanglement is described as, well, imagine millions of particles intricately linked, not just pairs, but a massively complex, multi-layered web. And their states aren't just simple on-off or spin-up-down. They exist in a quantum hyperposition, meaning they exist across multiple dimensions simultaneously.
Wow. Okay. Multidimensional quantum states.
Exactly. And this capability allows them to solve what are called NP-complete problems in real time.
NP-complete. Remind me, those are the really, really hard problems.
The impossibly hard ones for current computers. A simple analogy. Imagine you're a delivery company. You have 1,000 trucks, 1 million addresses. finding the absolute best, most efficient route for all of them, minimizing fuel, time, factoring in traffic, weather.
The number of possibilities is astronomical.
Exactly. Trillions upon trillions. Even the fastest supercomputer today would take literally billions of years to find the perfect solution. Coherent computers, using laced entanglement and hyperposition, can essentially explore all those possibilities simultaneously through their multidimensional connections.
So they find the optimal solution instantly.
In real time, yes. That's the claim. This isn't just faster number crunching. It's solving problems that are currently completely intractable. Unlocking solutions to global challenges, climate modeling, materials science, drug discovery that we can't even properly tackle right now.
That is truly mind-boggling.
Okay.
And if that wasn't enough, then there are non-local communication devices. Instant communication. Across light years. No more waiting years for a signal from Mars, let alone Alpha Centauri.
Sounds like it. The implications are just monumental. These devices supposedly use that same principle, quantum lace entanglement, but specifically for communication.
How does that work for sending, like, a message?
Because the entangled particles are linked, instantaneously, regardless of distance, a change to one particle, encoding information, is instantly reflected in the others, wherever they are. So you can achieve instantaneous data transfer across light years.
It's not just faster internet, then.
Oh, it fundamentally transforms space exploration. And interstellar dialogue, if that becomes a thing, imagine sending a query to a deep space probe, maybe light years away, and getting sensor readings back immediately.
Or talking to a colony on Proxima b in real time.
Exactly. Or, engaging in real-time diplomatic chats with, well, whoever might be out there.
Yeah.
It completely removes the communication lag that makes interstellar distances so daunting for interaction.
Yeah.
It basically shrinks the galaxy, communicatively speaking.
Okay. So we have hyper-powerful computers, instant interstellar chat, but then it gets even more integrated, quantum hyperspace computing and neural hyperlinks. Integrating this with the human mind, that's beyond just having a powerful computer near you.
Absolutely. We're talking direct integration. Quantum hyperspace computing allows for these multidimensional algorithms. They don't just process data faster, they use hyperspace resonant logic circuits, meaning they operate on a fundamentally different level. They can perceive and solve problems that inherently involve hyperdimensional physics, complex field interactions, things our current computers, even quantum ones, wouldn't even know how to frame. They spot patterns and connections invisible to us.
And the neural hyperlinks, that sounds intense.
It's presented as the truly revolutionary leap. Direct integration with neural technology, creating what the source calls cognitive hyperlinks. Imagine your brain through some incredibly sophisticated interface, directly accessing vast multidimensional databases, not just looking things up, but integrating knowledge.
It enhances intellect, memory.
Profoundly, yes.
Yeah.
The idea is you don't just retrieve facts, you understand and synthesize complex knowledge almost instantly because it's integrated into your cognitive processes.
Wait, but what does that mean for being human? If your brain is directly plugged into this cosmic library?
That's the huge question, isn't it?
Yeah.
What does it mean for cognition, for personal identity, when our brains can seamlessly access and integrate such immense information? The source even suggests sharing thoughts through collective consciousness networks.
Shared thoughts?
Yeah. It fundamentally redefines the boundaries of individual thought, memory, maybe even the self. Where does you end and the network begin? It's a profound philosophical question wrapped in technology.
Wow. Okay. Let's shift gears slightly. Energy and transportation. This is where HHHCR-TOE seems to promise changes on a truly planetary, even cosmic scale. Resonant energy harvesters first. Limitless clean energy. Is this finally the end of fighting over oil or resources?
According to this vision, yes. It marks the definitive end of energy scarcity. These harvesters work by extracting energy from zero-point fields.
Zero-point fields. The energy of empty space.
Essentially, yes, the quantum vacuum. The theory, validated in this future, says space isn't empty, but a shimmering sea of latent energy. These harvesters use resonance with quantum vacuums, like incredibly sensitive tuning forks, perfectly attuned to vibrate in sync with the subtle energies of this vacuum.
And they just pull energy out of nothing.
Yeah, the vacuum, pulling immense amounts of energy from what seems like empty space. The real geopolitical earthquake here isn't just cheap power, it's the eradication of resource competition.
Because energy is everywhere.
Exactly. It fundamentally shifts global power away from controlling resources like oil or minerals towards mastering this universal energy tech. It ushers in a truly post-scarcity economy. Energy becomes virtually free, ubiquitous.
Which changes, I mean, geopolitics, industry, daily life, completely.
Totally. Allowing huge advancements without the environmental cost or resource wars that plague us now. It's not just clean energy. The source implies it's infinite energy, derived from the fabric of space-time itself.
Okay, that alone is transformative. Then quantum teleportation transport. From sci-fi straight to, well, the 22nd century depot. When does this become practical? Are we beaming across the planet?
The source outlines a phased approach. It starts with information teleportation, maybe mid-21st century, which is already huge, then advancing to material objects by 2080.
Teleporting goods. Instantly.
Imagine raw materials, manufactured products appearing instantly where needed. Supply chains, manufacturing totally revolutionized. And then, the big one, human transport by 2150.
So personal teleportation is still a way off, but within the 22nd century.
Seems so, but yeah, it completely reshapes logistics, travel, makes physical distance almost irrelevant for moving things or people. Instant global mobility, commerce, culture, borders, all transformed. A trip across the world is like stepping next door.
Okay. And for really long distances, space exploration, hyperspace travel, warp drives. How do we finally crack interstellar travel? Those distances are just so vast.
This is where HHHCR-TOE really seems to cut loose humanity's cosmic leash. Warp drive tech emerges, inspired directly by these coherent resonance principles.
So not just going faster, but bending space.
Exactly. Instead of brute force speed, these systems use highly controlled hypergravity fields and coherent energy states to create navigable distortions in space-time itself, like folding a map.
Bringing point A and point B closer.
Precisely, allowing for near-instantaneous travel across distances that would take millennia otherwise. The source suggests initial unmanned probes go first, mapping things out, then human exploration by the late 2100s.
So by the 22nd century, humans are routinely hopping between stars.
That's the picture painted, yes. Regular journeys to distant systems.
And there's more than just warp drives.
Right, also resonance-based propulsion systems. They're fueled by those same resonant energy harvesters, drawing limitless power from the zero-point field, from the space-time fabric itself.
So sustainable interstellar travel.
Very much so. Significantly reduced energy needs for these epic journeys makes deep space exploration much more feasible, common, quiet, clean, sustained acceleration across huge distances, opening up the galaxy.
And then space-time engineering. That sounds like playing God with physics.
It does verge on that, doesn't it? With a deep understanding of hypersymmetry, humanity supposedly gains the ability to manipulate the hyperspace fabric itself, not just traveling through it, but shaping it.
Creating wormholes.
The source mentions creating artificial wormholes, controlled curvature of space-time. Imagine stable, navigable shortcuts through the universe. Tailoring gravity fields, it completely redefines space travel. Humanity becomes a multidimensional civilization, capable of traversing vastness instantly.
Maybe even connecting to other dimensions.
The possibility is implied. We're no longer just travelers in space, but potentially active shapers of space. The sheer power, it's immense. And it forces you to ask, what kind of civilization do we become? What kind of stewards are we, if we can literally bend space and time?
It's truly, truly astonishing to consider. And, okay, beyond the machines, the stars, how does this transform us? Our bodies, our minds. This is where HHHCR-TOE gets incredibly personal.
Definitely. Redefining health, lifespan, even consciousness.
Let's start with the medical side, quantum coherence therapy. Healing at a quantum level. Tell me more. That sounds radical.
It is presented as precisely that, a revolutionary. Quantum coherence therapy involves treatments that directly harness the body's cellular quantum states. Imagine every cell, every molecule in your body has a unique resonant frequency, like notes in a symphony. Disease, illness, often happens when that symphony falls out of tune, loses its coherence. This therapy aims to restore that perfect harmony.
By playing the right music back to the cells?
Kind of, yeah. By promoting coherence restoration within the body's fundamental quantum processes. It allows for incredibly rapid healing. It combats complex diseases, things incurable today. A patient with a terminal illness might undergo therapy, where specific frequencies restore the coherence of disease cells, causing them to heal or simply stop being pathological.
So incredibly precise medicine.
Working at the most fundamental energetic level of biology. That's the idea.
And related to that, genetic resonance engineering. Sounds like it leaves CRISPR in the dust.
Well, it's a different approach entirely, not physically cutting and splicing DNA like CRISPR. Instead, it involves editing genetic material by modulating its inherent resonant properties.
Modulating frequencies again.
Right. Imagine each gene, each bit of DNA, has a specific resonance signature. This tech allows scientists to subtly adjust or correct these frequencies, effectively rewriting genetic code with coherent energy, not physical tools.
The implication.
Huge. Paving the way for profound human enhancement. Not just fixing genetic diseases, but optimizing biology. Superior disease prevention from birth. The source mentions implementation by 2040.
2040, that's surprisingly soon in this timeline.
Relatively speaking, yes. Suggests a future where inherited diseases are basically gone and human biological potential is significantly expanded.
So this leads directly to longevity treatments. The quest for longer, healthier lives is aging itself finally cured.
The source states that by using cellular resonance, therapies extend life expectancy significantly. The aim is for universal anti-aging treatments by the mid-21st century.
Universal anti-aging.
Yeah. Suggesting that the cellular decline we associate with aging can be reversed or dramatically slowed by maintaining or restoring the resonant coherence of cells, of tissues, like perpetually retuning the body's symphony.
So living to 150, 200 in good health.
That seems to be the implication, becoming the norm, which of course completely transforms society, retirement, careers, family structures across generations. A mid-21st century world profoundly different from ours.
Okay, now, this is where it gets really, really mind-bending. Consciousness itself. The resonant theory of consciousness, linked with panpsychism. This feels less like biology and more like deep philosophy.
It absolutely bridges that gap. What's truly fascinating here is the idea that consciousness isn't just seen as something that pops out of complex brains like ours.
Which is a dominant view now, mostly.
Right. Instead, it's seen as a fundamental property of all matter. The theory posits that higher coherence in living systems, yes, promotes complex cognition like ours. But it aligns directly with panpsychism, the idea that universal connectivity, universal awareness in some form, stems from resonance.
So even a rock has some kind of consciousness.
In this framework, yes, potentially a very rudimentary form. It suggests a spectrum of consciousness, from elementary particles up to us, maybe even planets or galaxies. Resonance is the key to understanding its different levels. It fundamentally changes our view of life and sentience. Suggests a deeper awareness inherent in everything.
Wow. Okay, and bringing tech back in, neuro-hyperspace interfaces and neuroquantum interfaces, direct brain links to quantum states. What does this do to our minds?
These devices are described as tapping directly into the brain's quantum state, allowing for real-time analysis and even modulation of conscious states.
Modulation, like changing how you feel or think.
Potentially. Imagine fine-tuning your focus, boosting creativity, or maybe alleviating mental distress by directly adjusting the resonant frequencies within your brain. It could dramatically elevate cognitive capacities.
And connect us.
And potentially align us with those collective consciousness networks we mentioned. Shared thought processes, literally sharing insights, ideas, maybe even emotional states across a global network.
That's unnerving and amazing at the same time.
It fosters incredible levels of empathy, collaborative problem solving, but it also fundamentally blurs the line between individual thought and collective intelligence. Profound questions about identity, free will.
And what about artificial intelligence? AI that isn't just smart, but conscious, quantum-aware AI, or QSEs.
Yes, coherence augmented AI, known as quantum sentient entities, QSEs. The idea is they aren't just algorithms. They're designed to exhibit consciousness-like behavior because they have complex resonant networks mimicking the brain's coherence patterns.
So they replicate the structure and consciousness emerges.
The theory suggests true. Emergent consciousness becomes possible in these artificial systems. They could learn, intuit, create, maybe even experience reality in ways we only associate with life now.
And how do we interact with them?
That leads to these incredible collaborative human-AI synergies. They're not just tools, they're collaborative partners, engaging in quantum coherence-based thought sharing.
Sharing thoughts with an AI.
Imagine an AI partner that truly gets your creative spark, anticipates your research needs, or intuitively grasps complex problems alongside you, operating on a level of shared awareness. This massively enhances problem-solving, innovation in astrophysics, medicine, ecology.
Our creators, really.
Exactly, expanding the frontiers of discovery together.
Okay, so this theory, HHHCR-TOE, reshapes technology, biology, consciousness. What about society itself? How we live together, govern ourselves, interact with the planet? This seems just as transformative.
Absolutely. The ripples spread outwards, influencing everything.
Coherence-based societies and governance. The name itself suggests harmony. Does conflict just fade away?
The source suggests social structures fundamentally evolve based on these coherence principles, leading to a profound minimization of conflicts and fostering collective well-being. It's not just wishful thinking, it's built into the structure.
How? Through specific governance models?
Yes, governance incorporates resonant decision-making. Decisions are actively harmonized not just with human needs, but with the well-being of all humanity and the planet's health.
How could that possibly work in practice?
The model uses real-time data from global coherence networks. Think of sensors monitoring societal well-being, environmental balance to predict needs, and, crucially, prevent conflict through synchronized action.
So like an early warning system for social friction.
Exactly. Identifying and addressing imbalances proactively at their energetic root before they escalate. It's a system designed for intrinsic harmony, guided by the collective vibe, if you will.
And underpinning this are the collective consciousness networks you mentioned.
Right, a key component. These global networks allow for shared awareness, shared intelligence, creating a unified, cooperative human experience. It's more than just information sharing. It's a shared sense of being, of purpose.
Global empathy on a massive scale.
That's the potential. If you can genuinely feel the struggles or joys of others, it could spur collective action, create a truly unified response, shifting society from pure self-interest to a resonant collective well-being.
And education. How does learning change when reality is understood this way? Quantum education.
Curriculums get a complete overhaul. They harness quantum coherence to enhance learning itself, sparking creativity, critical thinking. The source puts this around 2050.
So not just what you learn, but how you learn changes.
Exactly. Leveraging the brain's own quantum states for faster comprehension, deeper insight. Remember those higher dimensional math like Artunians?
Yeah.
They become part of standard education, fostering a generation fluent in the mathematics of hypersymmetry. Imagine learning complex physics not as a struggle, but as an intuitive, coherent experience where insights just resonate.
Makes my old physics classes sound pretty painful.
Well, transforms education from rote learning to deep, intuitive understanding, discovery-based.
And culturally, how does art, music, literature reflect this? Cultural resonance movements, hyperconscious movements. What are these?
The arts and culture of the 22nd century deeply reflect these themes. Interconnectedness, resonance, universal harmony. Artistic expression isn't just visual or auditory anymore.
How so?
It becomes multisensory, immersive. Experiences designed specifically to resonate with both individual and collective consciousness. Think of sculpture that subtly shifts your mood via resonant frequencies, or music that syncs with brainwaves for relaxation or creativity.
Art you don't just see or hear, but feel on a deeper level.
Exactly. A resonant cultural renaissance, influencing emotional states, fostering shared experiences, maybe even spiritual ones.
And the hyperconscious movements.
These build on that.
Yeah.
Society's actively exploring collective consciousness using these resonant technologies. It's about experiencing a shared sense of being, fostering unity that transcends old borders, national, cultural, linguistic, a truly global, harmonious civilization emerging from shared awareness.
Finally, let's talk about the planet. Environmental harmony. Can this understanding actually heal Earth? Resonant ecological technologies. Sounds powerful.
And urgently needed, right. The source describes these technologies being used globally to restore and balance ecosystems. How? Through frequency modulation that aligns precisely with natural processes.
So you tune a damaged ecosystem back to health.
That's the concept.
Yeah.
Identify the discordant patterns, pollution, deforestation in a forest, an ocean, whatever. Then introduce coherent frequencies that subtly encourage natural healing, accelerate growth, restore biodiversity.
Working with nature's resonance.
Precisely. Enhancing coherence between biological systems and their environment for unprecedented sustainability. Treating ecosystems as complex, coherent systems you can heal energetically.
And this extends even to climate. Climate stabilization through coherence fields. Direct climate control.
Apparently. Advanced mechanisms stabilizing weather patterns by directly adjusting atmospheric coherence. Using knowledge of natural and synthetic resonant frequencies to produce extreme weather, mitigate climate change impacts.
So you could dissipate a hurricane and a drought.
That's the implication. Maintaining climate stability not through brute force, but by harmonizing with the planet's own subtle energies. Fine-tuning the planetary resonance for a stable, flourishing environment.
Okay, this whole picture, It's not just about tech or society. It really pushes into our place in the universe, doesn't it? The deepest philosophical implications.
It really does. It forces a reevaluation of everything.
Let's circle back to panpsychism, the idea that consciousness is everywhere, in everything.
Mhm.
How does the 22nd century live with that knowledge, assuming it's validated?
Well, in this vision, it's not just a quirky philosophical idea anymore. It's validated scientifically, explored extensively. It frames reality fundamentally differently. Consciousness isn't the exception. It's the rule, spanning from particles to people, maybe planets.
Which must change how you relate to, well, everything.
Absolutely. Your relationship with the natural world, with technology, maybe even with inanimate objects, it shifts the worldview from a mostly dead universe with pockets of life to a dynamic, interconnected, aware cosmos.
And if consciousness is fundamental, woven into reality, what does that do to concepts like the soul, identity?
That becomes a major focus for philosophers, spiritual leaders. The debate shifts. It's not if non-human things have consciousness, but how it manifests and what our responsibilities are.
Which leads to ethics.
Exactly. This raises that crucial question. If consciousness is fundamental, how does our responsibility expand? We need to think about AI, animals, ecosystems, maybe even rocks, in a new ethical light. It demands a multidimensional ethics, respecting consciousness in all its forms.
And our purpose. How does knowing the universe runs on coherent resonance change our goals as individuals, as a species?
It spurs deep existential reflection. What is the purpose of life? Human destiny. How do we align our personal goals with this universal harmony? Societal values shift towards holistic, purpose-driven living.
Finding your own resonant frequency in the cosmic symphony.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It fosters universal responsibility, unity. Your actions contribute to the overall coherence. Life becomes about aligning with that symphony.
Okay, let's look outward again, the expanding frontiers. What are the next big discoveries? Hyperspace observatories, advanced materials. What new realities get unveiled?
The 22nd century sees totally new ways of perceiving the universe. Hyperinterferometers, for instance, capable of detecting hyperspace vibrations, ripples, and higher dimensions.
Letting us see dark matter and dark energy interaction.
Exactly. Mapping the unseen architecture. Then there are quantum-laced telescopes, using entanglement and coherence to study light from beyond observable spacetime.
Beyond the edge of the visible universe.
Yes. Or maybe from parallel layers of reality, getting real-time data on distant galaxies, multidimensional events. We could finally understand dark energy. Maybe it's a coherent resonance field acting through higher dimensions, something we could even harness.
And this understanding lets them build new stuff. Advanced hyperspace materials.
Right. Resonant metamaterials engineered using hyperspace principles. Astonishing properties. Things like hyperelasticity, stretch and rebound incredibly. Negative refractive indexes, maybe leading to invisibility cloaks. Revolutionary optics. Incredible resilience.
Changing construction, medicine, energy.
Completely. Self-repairing buildings, perfect bio-integrated implants, and quantum-coherent superconductors. Lossless energy transmission even at high temperatures. Revolutionizing power grids, propulsion, data transfer. No more energy waste.
Okay, so interdimensional travel and colonization. This sounded like pure fantasy before, but with hyperspace physics. It's possible.
The theory suggests it paves the way for actual journeys through dimensional portals, stable wormholes, exploring other layers of the universe. Probes confirm new forms of matter, unknown physical laws in these dimensions.
So our universe is just one layer cake.
Seems that way in this vision. Exploration becomes navigating between realities, not just through space.
And colonization changes too.
Radically. Colony shifts and habitats aren't just vessels. They're designed to exist within hyperspace fields, using resonant tech for self-sustaining indefinite operation, like little biosphere bubbles in multidimensional space, making interstellar colonization truly sustainable.
How do you navigate that?
You need dimensional cartography, a whole new field, mapping hyperspace itself, safe passages, resource locations in other dimensions, a map of reality's pathways.
With all this power, manipulating reality, crossing dimensions, the responsibility is enormous. What about ethics, security?
Absolutely critical. The source highlights multidimensional ethics. If new sentience arises from hyperspace interactions or we meet beings from other dimensions, our existing ethics are inadequate.
We need rules for dealing with sentient AI, synthetic life, hyperspatial beings.
Exactly. The very definition of life, rights, personhood gets reevaluated through this lens of coherence and consciousness. It requires unprecedented global discourse.
And the potential for misuse.
Immense. The ability to manipulate reality itself, it's terrifying if misused. The source stresses that global cooperation is non-negotiable. Robust frameworks for responsible exploration, responsible tech use are essential to ensure this serves humanity and cosmic harmony, not destruction.
It's a testament to the imagined wisdom of this future that they grapple with that.
Indeed, power met with profound ethical consideration.
So let's try and wrap our heads around this. What does it all mean? We've journeyed through this incredible, ambitious vision of the 22nd century, a future totally reshaped by HHHCR-TOE, by a coherent, resonant understanding of reality.
Yeah, and if we connect it all back, the big picture here isn't just the amazing tech, as incredible as it is. It's a fundamental transformation in how humanity sees itself, its place in the cosmos.
Science, tech, philosophy, spirituality, they all merge.
Into a unified pursuit, yeah.
Yeah.
Understanding and living in harmony with these principles of resonance and coherence. It's a vision of an enlightened civilization where knowledge leads to purpose, to connection.
It's definitely an incredibly optimistic vision, a harmonious civilization, human potential maximized, bridging science and consciousness. It paints a beautiful picture.
It does. But it also leaves us with some deep thoughts. Like, if consciousness truly is a fundamental property of all matter, and we gain this ability to manipulate reality at the deepest levels, how does our responsibility expand? What are our new moral obligations to this vast, coherent, potentially conscious universe?
It makes you wonder, what deeper truths might we uncover as we continue exploring, aligning with this idea of universal resonance and coherence?
Exactly. What's the next layer of understanding?
So we invite you, the listener, to just ponder that. What would living in such a coherent, interconnected world truly feel like? And maybe how might even considering these future possibilities shape the choices, the connections, the understanding we seek today?